Hi all, in this video we'll talk you through a couple of decoration and design ideas we used when building our bakeries in Valheim. If you haven't seen our 2 bakery builds yet, there is a link up on screen right now. Our philosophy when building is to make our builds as immersive as possible and to do our best to create a feeling of it being lived in. When placing items, we often try to give things a purpose and let every area of the house tell a little story. Both builds are quite different as they were built independently from each other, which led to each of us coming up with different design and deco ideas. Today we'll take a closer look at some of our favorite elements from our slightly more modern village bakery. While the layout itself is rather simple, the idea was to create a unique look by working with both stone and wood. Stone was used to lay out the base of the building and to build a first layer of walls. Next, we built wood walls on top of the stone layer, which created this really nice effect of a solid base with rustic wooden walls. By building wood walls only on the outer side on top of the stone layer, you can create rather cozy window nooks that can either provide space for further deco, like a small seating and a table area in our example, or serve as shelving or window seats, depending on your layout. Let's see how we use this double layer technique to create some special windows. While this might at glance look similar to our window nooks, this time we built double wood walls on top of the stone layer. Double meaning on the inside and on the outside of the stone wall. Additionally, we filled the gaps between the wood walls around the window with stone pillars to achieve the look and feel of thick, solid walls. You can add wood poles and beams as window frames and create a nice little windowsill with 1x1 wood floors and a further beam. To finish our small window, we used an iron gate as a window shutter. It sits just between the outer wood wall and the stone layer. Our next tip is about window flower boxes. You can see here that we expanded a bit on our double-walled window idea, making it not only bigger but also using doors as window shutters. Our window box is created by building wood beams on the inside, in front of the window. To encase the box, we used signs in front of the beams and vertical item stands on the sides. You can then build various horizontal item stands on the beams inside the window box and choose a colorful, flower-like decoration like, for instance, blueberries and raspberries. We think this looks really cute and adds a nice splash of color. Let's have a quick look outside of the building before we continue inside. Just behind the big window is a small area with beehives sitting on small stools. To create a bit of an ambience, we placed horizontal item stands on the floor. Yes, that's possible. And decorated them with mushrooms. This looks also really nice in the dark. It's nothing too fancy, but small touches here and there can make your base easily look more immersive. Right next to our bakery's takeaway window counter, we created a small water fountain that provides varied travelers with a refreshment. The building technique for the water basin is the same as for the flower box. Beams for the bottom, signs on the case around it, and horizontal item stands with blueberries create the illusion of water. In the wall above the water basin, we recessed a 1x1 wood floor to create a small shelf for tankards, and a Grey Dwarf Brute trophy completes this little design idea. Speaking of takeaway window counter, in this case, the thick layer of stone walls around the building also serve as a base for our takeaway window counter. We expanded the counter with wood floors and wood beams underneath to make the whole thing look more solid. While building the roof above the counter is simple, the trick is to achieve a recessed look beneath the roof of the main building. In order to do so, you need to build the main roof on the inner double wall. That's the wall which aligns with the stone wall inside the building and not the outside of the building. Here is a look at the inside of the building and the wall you need to attach the roof to. And here is a look in between the double walls. You can see the thatch roof from the counter below and the main roof above. We had to play a bit around to get it to work, but we really like the recessed roof effect. Let's head back inside since we want to show you the heart of our bakery, the bread oven. The actual oven build is fairly straightforward, but let's take a look at all the elements. The base was created using 3 1x1 stone walls. 2 stone arches are recessed slightly into each other above the base. A 2x1 stone wall framed by wood beams sits above the arches. Last but not least, stone pillars for the chimney. Now to the details. We used a sign and a vertical item stand to add a fire door to our bread oven. Our favorite deco idea here are the flames inside. For this, we placed horizontal item stands with circling trophies inside on the oven floor. Please note that the wall behind the oven was removed to add more depth. We think this looks really good and makes the oven feel alive. Our wooden peel, or let's call it a bread shovel to make things easier, is created by placing 2 horizontal item stands on top of each other, one holding a round wood shield and the other a flint spear. Oh, and if you want to place the bread on top of the shovel, you'll have to place a 3rd horizontal item stand. It might take a few attempts to get all the placements right. To continue with the immersion of a real bread baking oven, we also built a fake chimney on the roof above the oven. Since it's not a real working oven, we placed a campfire inside the chimney, which can be fired up whenever you want. Last but not least, a charcoal kiln on the back of the building, right behind where the oven is inside, continues the oven dome on the outside. As we said in the beginning of the video, we actually built 2 different bakery builds, and that meant we also came up with different building ideas for key elements like the bread oven. One of us chose a completely different approach and used a charcoal kiln as an oven. Here a cultivator was used as bread shovel. It shows just how many options there are to recreate everyday items. Stone walls and arches around the kiln provide workspace for the baker. We also covered some of the stone walls with 1x1 wood floors to create a nicer surface that serves as additional shelving space. The idea behind this bakery was to create a more traditional rustic build, and this bread oven fits that concept perfectly. Make sure to check out our second bakery build in our other showcase video. You can find a link at the end of this video and in the description. Now that we know where to bake bread, let's have a quick look at our bread making area. You can of course use anything as a table, but we decided to use stone arches for the area where the dough is being prepared. Cloudberries on the item stands are our fresh bread dough, and we also have a rolling pin for when other pastries are being made. In this case, it's a simple club. Bread shovels decorate the walls, and tables with ready-to-be-baked breads are placed between this area and the oven. While we have added a few more details here and there, like shelves and a small seating space for customers, let's focus on the area where our bread and other delicacies are being sold. The store counter of our bakery allows adventurers to buy their goods inside or outside at our takeaway counter. There are bread and other baked goods on display to choose from, and the space under the shelves and counter serves for storage. All of this has been built using half wood walls in combination with beams and 1x1 wood floors. The wood iron beams are for decoration only, as we needed something to make our food display stand out a bit more. We'd love for you to check out our showcase videos for both of our bakeries and leave us comments to tell us what you like the best. With that being said, these were our 10 deco and building ideas around our bakery builds. We hope you found some inspiration for your own builds and enjoyed this video. For more tips and showcases, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out some of our other videos around Valheim and other survival games.